Hi friends, hello, welcome to Crack UPSC CSC with India's largest learning platform. This is Kiran Shetty, faculty for Political Science, Polity, Issues in Governance, Public Administration and Ethics. Friends, today we are going to discuss very important and interesting topic for UPSC mains, that is powers and functions of Prime Minister. Friends, from an academy, you will be getting daily live classes, live tests and quizzes, third courses, unlimited access to videos on UPSC prelims and mains. You can prepare with the top educators of an academy such as Krunal Patel, Siddharth Arora, Roman Saini. You will get videos on UPSC prelims and mains on subjects polity, economy, ethics, history, etc. Friends, you can subscribe for 12 months. For 12 months, it will be 44,000. If you use my promo code, that is capital KIRAN, you will get 10% discount. And if you subscribe for 24 months, it will be all the more good. 64,000 for 64,000, you can get 24 months subscription and you can get 10% discount by using promo code. My promo code, that is capital KIRAN. Academy has come up with new subscription, that is iconic subscription. It is very important and useful for the aspirants. In this iconic subscription, you will be getting live classes, test series, unlimited practices, structured schedule, personal mentorship. The faculty will be personally mentoring you, daily mains questions and answers, study planner, personalized feedback. It is just 57,600 for 12 months after 10% discount, and for 24 months it is 89,100 after 10%. Friends, Prime Minister duties towards the President. Article 74 says there shall be Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister to aid and advise the President, who shall act in accordance with such advice. The word shall has been incorporated by 42nd Amendment Act by Indira Gandhi government. What is the significance of incorporating the word shall? It means the President has to abide by the advice given by Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister. Later on, Janata government by 44th Amendment Act, it has incorporated the word reconsideration. That means President can send advice given by Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister for the reconsideration of Council of Ministers. And the Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister again advises the President without amending the advice. The President has to abide by the advice given by Council of Ministers. That is the significance of the word shall. Article 75 says the Prime Minister will be appointed by the President and other members of Council of Ministers will be appointed by the President on the advice of Prime Minister. Article 78 describes the duties of Prime Minister towards the President. In our previous video, that is on the discretionary powers of the President, Article 78 is one of the discretionary powers of the President. It consists of three provisions. We discussed these three provisions in detail in our previous video on the discretionary powers of the president. Why I made special video on the discretionary powers of the president. Generally, aspirants, they fall in this catch laid by UPSC. Many of us don't know that the president of India does have some constitutional discretionary powers. The president does have some constitutional discretionary powers. What are they? That we discussed in detail on that video on the discretionary powers of the president. Anyhow, this Article 78, it comprises three provisions. First provision of Article 78 says it is the duty of the Prime Minister to convey the President of all the important legislative and administrative decisions of the Union. Second provision of Article 78 says it is if the President asks so, if the President asks so, it is the duty of Prime Minister to furnish information that is required by the President. It is a duty of the Prime Minister, if the President asks so, to furnish information that is required by the President. That provision says it is the duty of the Prime Minister, if the President asks so, to lay the matter in front of Council of Ministers on which the decision has already been taken, but it is not considered by ministers. These three provisions are there under Article 78. And these are the powers and functions of Prime Minister towards the President. Now, the duty of Prime Minister towards the Parliament. These powers and functions of Prime Minister are not specifically mentioned in the Constitution, but it is according to the political conventions, Prime Minister perform these functions. What are they? Prime Minister advises the President to summon, prorogue the sessions of the Parliament. Of course, this particular provision is there under Article 85. The rest of the provisions are not specifically mentioned. But this particular provision is mentioned in the Constitution under Article 85. Prime Minister advises the President to summon and prorogue the sessions of the Parliament. What do you mean to prorogue the sessions of the Parliament? In our previous class, we discussed the differences amongst adjournment, adjournment sine die, and prorogue, dissolvement. Adjournment means postponement of the sitting of the House by specifying time period. Postponing the sitting of the session of the House by specifying time period. Like the House has been adjourned till Monday. The House has been adjourned till evening. The House has been adjourned till 2 o'clock afternoon. Like that, when time period has been specified, it is adjournment. What is adjournment sine die? Adjournment sine die is postponing the session without prescribing the time limit. That is adjournment sine die. Both adjournment and adjournment sine die can be announced by presiding officer of the House. That is Speaker in case of Lok Sabha, the Chairman of Rajya Sabha, that is Vice President in case of Rajya Sabha. These two things, adjournment sine die, can be announced by the presiding officer of the House concerned. But on the other hand, proroguing the sessions and dissolvement of Lok Sabha can only be announced by the President. What do you mean to say prorogue? Prorogue means it is the end of the session. For instance, in general, there will be 3 sessions in an year. Budget session, monsoon sessions, and winter session. Prorogue means it is the end of the session. Generally, each session may go for 2 months. For instance, monsoon session is to be started in July. July, what is it? Last week it started, and it was supposed to continue till mid of September. But in the first week of August itself, President prorogued the sessions of the parliament. That means it is the end of monsoon session. The rest of the sittings of both the houses of parliament after first week of August, which were supposed to go on till mid of September, have been cancelled. It is the end of the session itself. What is a dissolution? Dissolution is end of the life of Lok Sabha. We need to go for fresh election. Lok Sabha got elected in 2019 May, and its regular term is 5 years. That is till April or May 2024 it will continue. But in the mid-day, for instance, in 2020 winter sessions, the president dissolves the Lok Sabha. It is the end of the life of Lok Sabha, and we need to go for fresh election. That is the meaning of dissolvement of Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved. Announcement of proroguing the sessions of the parliament and announcement of dissolvement of Lok Sabha can be made only by the president. Always remember, these things can be asked in match the following, or UPSC generally gives statements. Which one among the following are correct? Adjournment can be announced by the speaker. Adjournment sine die can be announced by the president. Adjournment sine die can be announced by the speaker. The proroguing the sessions of the parliament can be announced by the president. Proroguing the sessions of the parliament can be announced by the presiding officer of the house. Dissolvement of Lok Sabha can be announced by the speaker. Dissolvement of Lok Sabha can be announced by the president. 1 and 2 statement are correct. 1, 2, 3 are correct. 1, 3, 4 are correct. 1, 3, 4, 5 are correct. You know the manuals and tactics of UPSC. So in that instance, we may tend to confuse ourselves under the pressure of the exam. That's why you remember these facts. Your memory should be precise. Your memory should be like apple in the hands of the surgeon. Remembering these minute facts, minute and important facts, and understanding the concepts is the crux of success in prelims. Crux of success in prelims. Always keep in your mind. But always remember, remembering facts doesn't mean that you need to remember useless facts. What I mean to say, not exactly useless, but insignificant facts. Such kind of facts can be asked by state public service commissions in group 2, group 3, like that. Like, according to which article the oath of vice president is administered. Such kind of very minute and insignificant facts can be asked in group 2, group 3 kind of exams. But in UPSC, both they may be facts, but they are of utmost significance. That only will be asked in UPSC prelims. So the Prime Minister under Article 85 advises the President to summon and prorogue the sessions of the Parliament. Next, the Prime Minister prioritizes the bills that are going to be introduced in the Parliament. The Prime Minister prioritizes which bill is going to be introduced first, which bill is going to be introduced next. Then third preference, fourth preference, like first Jammu and Kashmir, what is a bifurcation, deletion of special status for Jammu and Kashmir. Then Tribal Talaq, like that, he prioritizes the bills that are going to be introduced in the parliament. Prime Minister guides the bills at various stages in the parliament. Apparently, this statement looks very mundane, but tremendous meaning has been ingrained in this. If you observe in practice, when the important bills have been introduced in parliament and when they are in their different stages of what do you say passing the bills, prime minister always coordinates with the leaders of major parties. For instance, in recent time, when Telangana Tribal Talaq bill was introduced, when Jammu and Kashmir bill was introduced, prime minister himself spoke with the important leaders of regional parties. Like prime minister himself spoke with Y.S. Jagan, Andhra Pradesh chief minister. Prime minister himself spoke with KCR, Telangana chief minister. Like that, prime minister always coordinates closely with leaders of parties in order to get the bills passed in both the houses of parliament. Many political analysts, they predicted that these contentious bills such as Tribal Talaq, Jammu and Kashmir bills are not going to be passed because BJP, the ruling party, doesn't have adequate majority in Rajya Sabha. But because of the initiative that have been taken by the Prime Minister, the bills got passed even in this Rajya Sabha. So the ruling party doesn't have adequate majority. So this is the significance of this particular function of Prime Minister. That is, Prime Minister prioritizes the bills that are going to be introduced and the Prime Minister guides the bills at various stages in the and Prime Minister coordinates with the opposition for the smooth conduct of Parliament session. Prime Minister coordinates with the opposition for the smooth conduct of Parliament session. If you observe, whenever the Parliament sessions are going to be started, just one day before, Prime Minister hosts dinner for leaders of opposition party. He hosts, he organizes nice dinner for leaders of opposition parties. For what purpose? To placate them so that they don't create ruckus in the parliament. They don't create uproar in the parliament. Otherwise, passage of important bills will become very difficult. So this is how he coordinates with the opposition for smooth conduct of parliament sessions. Apart from that, whenever a contentious issue arises in either house of the parliament, Prime Minister delivers his speech. He participates in the debates and discussion. For instance, in case of Tribal Talaq bill, Prime Minister himself delivered speech in the parliament explaining the need and significance of Tribal Talaq bill. When Jammu and Kashmir bifurcation bill was introduced and when there was ruckus in the parliament in this regard, he explained the importance and significance of passing of Jammu and Kashmir bill. This is how He coordinates with the opposition for the smooth conduct of parliament sessions. Then Prime Minister answers the questions in the parliament. Prime Minister answers questions in the parliament. This is very important function of Prime Minister. The efficacy of functioning of a particular Prime Minister can be judged on the yardstick of how he answers the questions in the parliament. For instance, our former Prime Minister, Ms. Indira Gandhi, she used to meticulously prepare for the questions in the parliament that have been posed on her. In this regard, often she used to take the help from the secretaries in Central Secretariat, Cabinet Secretariat, and Prime Minister's office. The former Principal Secretary to Prime Minister, P.C. Alexander, who was Principal Secretary to Indira Gandhi when she was Prime Minister, he writes in his autobiography, My Years with Indira Gandhi, that whenever parliament sessions used to go on, these three important administrative apparatus, these three important administrative offices at union level, Central Secretariat, Cabinet Secretariat, and Prime Minister's office, all of them used to be on tenterhooks, hearing that what kind of information may be required by Indira Gandhi. Always they used to be on alert whenever the sessions of parliament used to go on. This is how she used to meticulously prepare and deliver answers for the questions in parliament. This is the significance of the function of the Prime Minister in parliament. That is, Prime Minister answers the questions in parliament. Our present Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, also meticulously delivers the answers for the questions that have been posed in the parliament. These instances here can testimony to the fact that Prime Minister's efficacy can be judged on the yardstick of how the Prime Minister answers the questions in the parliament. Next, the Prime Minister coordinates with the presiding officer of the House with regard to business of the House. He closely coordinates with the Speaker of Lok Sabha. He closely coordinates with the Chairman of Rajya Sabha with regard to the business of the House. Because presiding officer of the House is Chairman of Business Advisory Committee, which determines the business for the week as well as for the entire session itself. So, which bills need to be introduced in which priority, what ought to be given, should be done with regard to some, motions that are going to be introduced in the House. For instance, impeachment was going to be introduced against former Chief Justice of India, Deepak Mishra, but the Vice President, Venkaiah Naidu, rejected the acceptance of introduction of impeachment proposal. With regard to such kind of, introduction of impeachment motions or any other motions such as adjournment motion, no confidence motion, introduction of bills, and determining the rest of the business of the House, the Prime Minister closely coordinates with the presiding officer of the House. One more example in this regard, Telangana bifurcation bill was introduced in Rajya Sabha. What was the logic behind that? There is tremendous logic behind that. Any bill that has been introduced in Rajya Sabha, before it got passed by Rajya Sabha, if Lok Sabha gets dissolved, that bill will not die. That bill will not die. When new Lok Sabha comes for session, that bill will be taken for voting. After the bill got passed in Rajya Sabha, that bill will be sent to Lok Sabha. This is why Telangana bifurcation bill was introduced. So this logic will be advised or may be advised by the Prime Minister, the presiding officer. So this is how the Prime Minister coordinates with the presiding officer of the House concerned with regard to the business of the House. Then Prime Minister and Financial Minister. Prime Minister closely coordinates with the Finance Minister in budget preparation. What sectors of economy should be given preference? What kind of softs ought to be given for various sections in the society, like reduction of income tax for middle class people, or giving some incentives to the industries. This is how he determines priorities in the economy. And in this regard, the Prime Minister closely coordinates with the Finance Minister in budget session. In this context, I want to moot a point. Present Prime Minister, when NDA 2 government was voted to power in 2014, it introduced full-fledged budget and full-fledged railway budget. Before the elections, for the general elections of 2014, the outgoing UPA 2 government had introduced interim budget and interim railway budget. After the elections, when new government was formed, the government introduced full-fledged budget and also introduced railway budget. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation on the eve of introduction of railway budget. Till now, no Prime Minister of India addressed the nation on the eve of railway budget. But Narendra Modi addressed the nation on the eve of introduction of railway budget. In that speech, he mooted very pertinent point with regard to the status of infrastructure in India. He was saying that on one hand, the quality of road transportation has been increasing, but on the other hand, the quality of rail transportation has been dwindling. It is in universal proportion. Not stagnant either. It is universal proportion. It is negative, dwindling. For instance, in my childhood, when I used to travel from my hometown, Warangal, to Hyderabad by road, by taking road transportation bus, state road transportation, road uh, corporation bus, RTC, it used to take 5 hours, even if the bus was to be non-stop. It used to take 5 hours. But now, if we catch government bus, road transport corporation bus from Warangal to Hyderabad, non-stop bus, it takes 2.5 hours. That means the time period to travel from Warangal to Hyderabad has been reduced by half. Reduced by half. On the other hand, when I used to travel by train from Kazipet Junction to Secunderabad, Kazipet is considered to be one of the important junctions in South India. They call it South Gateway of South India. Gateway of South India. When I used to travel from Kazipet to Secunderabad by non-stop super fast train, at the most it used to take 2 hours. But friends, do you know how much time it may take if we catch the same non-stop super fast train from Kazipet to Secunderabad? It will be at least 3 hours. Somewhere between 3 hours to 4 hours it will take. If it reaches within 2.5 hours, people will wonder. They thank God. On one hand, the quality of road transport has been increased. But on the other hand, the quality of rail transport has been dwindling, which is of most concern for economic growth and economic development. Because railways are engines, one of the engines of economic growth and development. This is how he mooted very, very important aspect of economy. I gave this example how Prime Minister plays vital role in financial management. Then Prime Minister is chairman of Niti Aayog and Prime Minister is also chairman of National Development Council. In these are two forums at which economic development, the strategy for economic development and economic growth are discussed and enforced. Then the Prime Minister as the head of Council of Ministers, the Prime Minister is first among the equals according to the norms of parliamentary form of government. Prime Minister allocates cabinet portfolios and he reshuffles cabinet portfolios. And Prime Minister coordinates with his cabinet colleagues. For instance, in the context of Corona pandemic, Prime Minister closely coordinates with the Home Minister and Health Minister. In case of, in the light of Chinese aggression, Prime Minister closely coordinates with the Defense Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister. Apart from that, the Prime Minister's office always looks into the functioning of various ministries and administrative departments. Often the advice is given by Prime Minister's office to the officers and ministers in various ministries and departments. Then Prime Minister and international relations. The Prime Minister plays vital role in international sphere. This is clearly evident from the fact that how our Prime Minister is actively involved in international affairs. He tours the various nations in the across the world, and his tour is not just in a haphazard manner, in a calculated manner. He does. For instance, as soon as in 2014, when Narendra Modi government came to power, first the Prime Minister visited the neighboring countries, not the powerful countries in the world such as US. As soon as the Prime Minister assumed the office, the US government declared that it 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 moved the ban on travel of Narendra Modi from India to US when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat. Unfortunately, US imposed this ban on Narendra Modi, but that ban was removed as soon as he assumed the office of Prime Minister. But despite of that, he never went to US or Russia or Israel first. He visited the close neighboring countries such as Nepal, Bhutan, Burma, like that. So it is calculated maneuver This is how the Prime Minister plays vital role in international relations. After many, many years, Narendra Modi is the first Prime Minister to visit Israel. Why he visited Israel? We have very close bond with Israel because Israelites, the Jews, when they were persecuted across the globe, it is India which sheltered. It is not my word. Israeli parliament, in its first resolution, the first resolution of Israeli parliament is that we are thanking Indians for giving us shelter and saving us and protecting us from persecution when we had been persecuted across the globe. That is the greatness of India. As Swami Vivekananda says in Chicago speeches, India is characterized by universal toleration and universal acceptance, and which has given shelter to all the persecuted people across the globe. The Persians, Russians, the Jews, anyone who is persecuted at any corner of the globe was given, has been given, in fact, shelter by the government, including Dalai Lama of present day. So this is the bondage between Israel and India. In order to foster that bondage, in order to highlight, in order to enhance that bondage, after decades together, it is the Prime Minister Narendra Modi who visited Israel. This is how, friends, Prime Minister plays vital role in international relations. His, what to say, attendance in important summits like UN, BRICS, ARC, for instance, in the light of Corona pandemic, Prime Minister took initiative and he conducted video conference, virtual conference in SARC summit to deal with Corona pandemic. So this is how the Prime Minister plays important role in international affairs. Thank you, friends. With this, we will end today. Next time, we will meet with another interesting and important topic. Use my promo code, that is capital KIRAN, and get 10% discount. If you want these PPTs, you please subscribe to post Telegram link. Thank you. Thanks a lot.